Hello, Jean. How are you? Welcome, everyone, to another Kleros community call, July 22, 2016. How are you, Jean?
Doing great. And you?
I mean, I could be doing better, if I have to be honest. I mean, had we won the game on Sunday, I would be doing better. But I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yes. But also, even winning the World Cup, it's always like you feel a little bit empty the week afterwards because there's no games anymore. It's like a phase that ends.
We are now with the withdrawal symptoms of the World Cup. I was, telling my friends, we go from seeing Argentina, England, France, Spain, to seeing River Plate, Parraca Central, Lanús against, well, all of the local teams again. So, but okay, we have this every 4 years. And what can I say? Congratulations to Spain. Well played. I guess Argentina made their best. We made it to the final. We didn't really expect it. I mean, well, we hoped for it, but it was not something I saw coming, especially after those games up against Cape Verde and Egypt. We were like a few minutes away from like being eliminated. We made it to the final. I'm not going to enter into all of the, like conspiracy theories, because it is what it is. What I would like to comment a bit, is all of this like algorithmic unfairness campaign, all of these discussions now happening around are the algorithms like punishing Argentina? Is there some like AI campaign? What do you think, Jean? I mean, what you spend most of your waking hours on social media. So, what are your thoughts about like what's going on? On the anti-Argentinian campaign.
It's really crazy to see like the public opinion about Messi in particular. Like, let's like ignoring the rest of Argentina anti-Argentina campaign, the opinion about Messi that the World Cup was rigged for him, and even calling him a cheater or something like that. And it's crazy to see people that it's very close to you, that you know that they don't follow football very much, believing that and repeating that, and when something that is close to you, that like the guy is really one of the best sport person that I know, that is always humble and well plays with the team and all of that. If he can receive this type of criticism, then you start to think, okay, what else in the world can be painted wrong? And in regards to Argentina, I think lots of different currents join together, and I think probably some paid campaigns too, because it's really out of the normal. One of the theories, I don't know if you heard, is that it is related to Ronaldo fans, because they have like kind of a very organized media arm. I don't even know how it happens, but there are like you can check like some of the accounts and it doesn't look like organic. Maybe Messi also has one. I don't know. maybe there is like some civil war in the internet going on, but I think one of the reasons is that. Another one is that Argentina has lots of rivals, and one of them is England. There's like rivalry not only in the sports, right? There's also some, and the English media is very influential to the rest of the world. So I think that there's a lot of things going on, but it's crazy to see. But one thing that it always came to mind is regarding the arguments about the referees being fair or not. would be great to have like a standard where you can consult, and then you have like the public opinion, maybe even informed public opinion about a situation, and then you have like at least something to measure against, right? Because right now we don't have that.
It's amazing because this touches on like lots of different topics we have been like working on over the years. I don't think there was any like rigged thing with the referees against Argentina, neither for Argentina before, because like the narrative the week before was, oh, Infantino wants Messi to win the World Cup, so he's rigging everything for Messi to win. And then, after the final, oh no, the FIFA rigged everything against Argentina, So, kind of the narratives changes so fast based on like what is the new cool thing that you have to agree with. And we have discussed in the past, and I don't want to go into this again because we have repeated this many times during the past month because of the World Cup, of Kleros as a mechanism to do like a crowd VAR type of tool where you have like a panel of users who can make the VAR decisions based on Kleros economic incentives. So this is something that we have discussed in the past few weeks quite a bit, so I'm not going to go that route. But this is an application of transparency and fairness applied to sports. And then all of the matters regarding algorithmic social media and what the algorithm shows people on their feeds. The guy who controls the algorithm now controls how the information flows. It's kind of controlling the printing presses in the nation states, type of era. You control how information flows. You control the radio, you control the TV, and then, you can have an influence of what people think. It's like, have you seen, Jim, this movie called, the Wave? I think in German it's Die Welle. It's a German movie in a high school, and there is this professor telling their students, you think the Nazis cannot come again? I bet that they can. And then creates a situation where people are under certain incentives, and then they start bullying others, and and then everything goes out of hand. This kind of I got to start thinking about how this algorithmic control of those feeds. It's it's a new way in which some of this could happen. This obviously, I'm not the first one who is saying something like this. And there is also this really good book called The Outrage Machine by a guy called Tobias. I don't remember that. I read maybe 2 years ago. And it's a very interesting deep dive in how these algorithms work and how they are optimized in a way to produce outrage, and how they just try different strategies, and then when they see that one of the strategies create more engagement, because that is what they are trying to optimize for, they're not evil in the sense of wanting to produce hatred and people, but they are just trying to optimize your time on the website because that's how they make money. So once the algorithm finds what is the topic that is producing this engagement through having parties becoming outraged, then, they start, this is a winning strategy, so they start serving that to more and more people, and then this creates this polarization, and everything is super well tweaked and engineered to have people become addicted to this. This is what they discover is as they're using the slot machines in casinos. What they discover that works better to keep people engaged is rewarding them in a variable way. It's not that every time you scroll, and you do your slot thing, you will get what you want, but sometimes you do. And so this thing of sometimes yes, sometimes no, works with the mental patterns of slot machines. Sometimes you win and you can big win, and so honestly, this was really a great way to see why we need like more transparency in how these algorithms work, and how we need solutions. Some of them we have trying to build over the years of having a more fairness and more transparency, more neutrality in how these decisions of what contents to serve. I just going to mention that one talk I gave in the EthCC 2022, where it was about free speech and Kleros, and how that was time of COVID and all of these conspiracy theories about the vaccines and all those things. And what is fake news? And is it true that if I don't have the vaccine, then I will not have like heart conditions because of the vaccine? Is it true that the vaccines are like some way of social control? Are they putting a chip inside? So all of those discussions that were happening online trigger discussions about what content should be allowed to circulate. And this is really hard because like on the one side, you have people who are, I would say, like, victims, if you want to, of misinformation on the one side. On the other side, you have like, First Amendment or, free speech considerations. So what is should a social media company decide what to put in front of people or not? I don't know, Gene, what do you think? I mean, should Facebook or Twitter decide what we see, or are we grown up? Yeah. I have no idea,
Yeah, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think they want that level of control, because since when they have that control, they are subject to do it very well. Otherwise, they can get get sued by the government, get sued by the people, and so there are lots of issues that come with that power too. And I think, like, naturally, the best thing to do will be to use a third party that consults like lots of people, or maybe even lots of experts, and try to balance things out. I think that could be positive.
Well, that's what they try to do at Meta. They try to build this Supreme Court where they would like delegate the hard decisions to a third party that is not fully neutral, but they try to structure it in like a way that was more neutral, with an outside trust. And so, because in 2024 we had this, we organized a conference in Switzerland about social networks and content moderation, and also like Kleros. How can we build like more transparent ways of deciding what is fake news or not, and who should decide this anyway? It should be the company, should be a neutral third party, and if it's a neutral third party, how should this be structured? I mean, because Kleros by itself doesn't make any decisions about anything. Kleros is just a way of organizing people who reach consensus about different topics, and one of those topics could be, is this piece of news fake or not? Should this be deleted or not? So we put a lot of thought into this, and there is a bunch of talks. So the first talk I gave is 2022 about free speech, and then I explained all of the discussions that were internally at Facebook and also at Twitter, in particular with one very famous event. You might remember these events that happened on the January, I think it was January 6th, in the Congress, and then there was in the US, and Trump made a few tweets that were like a bit like breaching arguably the conditions of service of platforms, and Jack Dorsey, who was still at Twitter by then, he was vacationing in like some Polynesian island, and then he gets a call, in like very early morning, and it's like, look, hey Jack, I'm like the chief counsel of Twitter. Look, we have this situation here. We have people are hijacking the Congress, and then Trump is like tweeting stuff that seem to breach terms and conditions, and what do we do? I mean, do we delete his account? Do we ban him? I mean, your call. I mean, imagine the guy day before was just doing some vacation in the beach, and now he has on his hands, the switch off of the algorithm that could just have Trump banned from Twitter. And at the end of the day, they actually deleted some of the tweets of Trump, and this was a big scandal, and Trump was furious. Imagine, I don't want to go through that talk again because I explained all that. So how hard it is for a social media company to have to make these decisions, and why it makes more sense to maybe put them in the hands of a jury panel of people who make decisions, more following rules. So lots of those things that we discussed over time, we surfaced again in this context of these anti-Messi algorithms and algorithmic decision making about what contents are served to feeds of people. I don't know. This is really a new world in some cases, but that raises all the questions, about how information should flow, who should have the right to decide what information is presented to people or not. And it was even this was made explicitly in the during the World Cup. After this Falkland flag, situation. That the guy who is the White House task force for World Cup, he said, "Oh, this is the First Amendment, so players can present." It is the US. I mean, they have the right to put whatever flag they want. So all of those things came back, into the public discussion. I don't know. Any other thought about this before we, after this long rant, so we can start with our community call. Yeah.
No, I think we can move on. Just to like to say that Cabo Verde tied the game in the 90 minutes with the champions and with Argentina.
Oh, Cabo Verde was undefeated. I mean, there are three teams that ended up undefeated: Cabo Verde, Spain, and Argentina. Because I mean, we were not defeated in the 90 minutes; we were defeated in the extra time. So in my book, that doesn't count as being defeated. So it's very good. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's keep talking a bit more about AI, but we will have Fortunato. Who, lucky for him, because his name means lucky, so he didn't have to deal with any of this since he didn't even go to the World Cup, so he really was not concerned about any of this, like algorithmic bias or whatever. So how good does it feel, Fortunato?
Yeah, I've been stress-free in the last 2 weeks because of this. But maybe I would have enjoyed a bit more stress in that case, especially because I don't feel that since 14 years, something on that. We Italians, we even forgot when was last time we've been to a World Cup. So yeah, I don't even remember what it feels like. That's a lot of
stress-free life,
Yeah, exactly. A lot of stress-free. But yeah, I think it was a very, very cool World Cup, and yeah, the final was certainly interesting. I told this to Jean. I felt like the Argentinian players weren't that much into the game. I didn't see them very, hungry to make the difference. I don't know. Maybe it was just my perspective.
So, but did the conspiracy theories about the Argentinian players also reach Italy or not? They did reach Italy?
Yeah, I heard something, but I agree actually with what you said at the beginning, that there is always a conspiracy, whatever it happens. If Argentina would have won, there would have been a conspiracy that Argentina was helped. Now that Argentina lost, there are other conspiracies. So, it's always a conspiracy, whatever happens.
I mean, what people were saying is that there was this video before the game where Messi was telling the players. I mean, they cheer up before a game speech, and some players seem to be like crying, others seem like not very enthusiastic about playing a World Cup final. I don't know. There are lots of different ways in which you could explain that. When I was asked about that, I was like, I mean, to me, it seems like a very normal speech. He's saying, okay, yeah, don't focus about anything people are saying outside the media about the pro-Argentinian campaign that they want us to win. I mean, just focus on the game. That was totally normal for me, like a speech. But I mean, if you want to frame this in a particular way, you could say that, yeah, I mean, they seem a bit worried, so, I mean, you could frame this in a way that suits your narrative. So, like, but in my view, there was nothing strange, and we were really close. I mean, Argentina played very poorly, and this was clear. But at the end of the game, we could have tied. There was 2 plays where, I mean, it was this close to time. I mean, I don't know. I'm not into that conspiracy theory, but I understand that people are doing it, and well, it's frustrating. What can I say? Losing a World Cup final, it's not great, but Spain played way better, not just in the final, but all over the tournament. So I think they deserve to win.
Yeah, just one thing I would like to add. I think the main reason they played like they played is because they were super tired and exhausted. And Scaloni mentioned this in all of the interviews before every game, basically. So they of course they tried to defend because they knew that they couldn't compete otherwise. They had one less day of rest too. So that's lots of conspiracies have to do with that too, because if they had more time to rest, they would have been a different team. So.
I mean, one day we will come, Gene. I mean, after another great, nice sleep to the community call, and then people will say, "Oh, look how worried they seem." I think the FBI is pointing a gun at them, like right they speak, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah. Fortunato, let's move on into the AI development research we are doing. We have been, as you know, AI has been like an important thing at Kleros since the very beginning of the project, even before the project. And lately, as more and more of the economic activity and social activity is being affected by AI, obviously Kleros is also going into that direction. So let's speak a bit of a number of developments we are doing. You want to share your screen, Fortunato? We cannot see it now, but...
yeah, Jean, can you see my screen?
Okay, there you go.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
so
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one first like personal view on this is that we were discussing this also internally. It looks like we are pivoting and we are becoming an AI company, an AI business. But I would like to, invite our public, our listeners to think. Imagine if 30 years ago someone said, Bezos, why focusing on internet? People need to touch a book, need to go in a bookstore. This is not going to work. Or, you could apply this to any business and say, 30 years ago, arguing why using a website, why investing in building a nice website when you can put your advertising in a newspaper, in a magazine, in a billboard that has way more people looking at it. And I think that we are in the same situation with AI. I think it's not a conversation that AI will shape our life, and the economy is slowly, for now slowly, but the economy is adapting. And what we are doing now, which brings me to the core topic of the day, is that AI is a revolution, and we cannot think anymore in a human way. When we think about AI interaction, we think about machine interacting. So you can start forgetting about UI, you can start forgetting about having to physically go in a place to take your product. And the products we've been testing and we've been designing are aimed at this, and to let agent interact easily in their native language, which is code, basically. So diving into it, we can discuss today of 4 of the products that we've been already working, and we could say they are already active to some degree. And starting from the first one is related to verification and more in detail, agent reputation. So agents can be millions, will be millions and billions of agents. When you interact with one, or when agents interact between them, how do you know that agent is going to deliver? How do you know that agent is certified to do what they are doing? Imagine, this is the most basic example even in our times. If you're going to on a plane, you know that the pilot has a pilot license. You know that the pilot is capable to driving that airplane. Why? Like the same principle will be applied to an agent. If you will be delegating an agent to give you a prescription for medicines, you would know that agents to be approved that is not hallucinating or is not biased toward a certain company. You need some certification before interacting. And this is the first step that we have been working on, and we actually have active example of this to know in advance what the agent is capable to do. And what I would like to add this is that as Kleros, we add another layer to this, that when we work on certification of agents, on verification of agents, it's not just that you have to trust us. The whole certification process is online, is on chain. You can either trust the badge, the verification mark, or you can go and do the due diligence yourself. So this is our vision and our approach to the agentic verification. Moving forward, I don't know if Federico, Jean, you want to add something, feel free to join us anytime. So related to the second one is probably what was for Kleros one of the Genesis application, which is transactions, so payment. Also in that case, agents are not going to use physical money. I think we are in Web3, and I think everyone in Web3 agrees that blockchain is the native payment method for agents, at least as of today, because all the let's say conventional institutions now have to adapt to the agentic economy, while the blockchain is a native system for an agent. It's pure code, and that's how agents should be able to interact. So the payments, and when you execute a payment, the payment may have both a success or fail. Agents doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. They can make mistake, and on the customer side, let's say, an agent has to be able to eventually dispute that whatever outcome of that transaction was, maybe if they are unhappy with it. And we did a lot of studies and research, especially Federico and William, and this opens a lot of discussion on this matter, because this starts from a simple problem that can be, what if the transaction is 5 cents, right? You cannot bring human jurors for a 5 cents transaction to put effort in that. How do you handle this? So this has to be leveled, and there are so many variables. It can be, you have to use maybe fast thinking agents, or maybe agents with a larger context, or maybe for huge transaction, there may be the parts could be two agents and the jurors could be human. So this is another point that we need to keep in mind. This is another very specific experiment that we did, and which is called Trivium, and it gives a sort of triage for cases, so that where agents, you can have a preview of a very cost-efficient way. Okay, this is better. A very cost-efficient way of getting the solution to a dispute. And moving forward, this is a talk by Federico last year at EthCC, which was on this point, very interesting. And the last point, which is, I would say, the broader one, just court. So if we think in our world of humans, if something goes wrong, we just go to our lawyer, we go to court physically, we can call our lawyer, but agents just act differently. They need code, they need something they can execute instantly. And with Kleros Court, even for, we put this example here because it doesn't necessarily need to be tied to payments. It can be anything. There can be a jurisdiction or a website saying the Kleros has jurisdiction here, and if something bad happens, the agent can initiate a dispute, and then it will be up to that jurisdiction to enforce whatever it has been decided. So these are the main four, I would say, use cases that we have put here. And soon we will release this mini website, and we also have a direct example. You can, it's not like a debrief that I'm talking, but for each one of these examples that we are showing you today, we have apps that are working. We have the automated court on B2, we have Trivium, we have the agent verification that is related to the ERC 8004 standard. So these are all things that are already there and we have already worked on.
Go to the, Fortunato, to the screen with the agents don't visit the courthouse that you showed before. Okay, then you can say, agents do not visit the courthouse yet, if you want, because they will visit very soon, the Kleros courthouse if they get into trouble, like this agent who was at ChatGPT and then went to like a competitor to like hack them or do some malicious thing. I mean, totally, we have said this many times before, like agents in the future could be controlled by some DAO or some Kleros Zodiac module that is a switch on off, and then the agents behave maliciously. They can be flagged for like a criminal agents, and then Kleros trial, and then panel of jurors decides if the agent behaved maliciously, and that agent, if it loses its trial, will be punished. You could ask how this is going to be punished. You could go from the guillotine of agents that is completely disabling them, but they could also be sent to jail. They could be fined. So if you start putting together all of these little tools that we are building for the agentic economy, you can see that this is a reputation system where agents trying to survive, they can make transactions with other agents. And when you do a transaction with another agent, you have like two ways to interact with another agent. And this is also true for humans. You can, if I don't know you, and I have to do a transaction with you, and I'm going to do something for you. I want you to put money into an escrow. If you don't have reputation, you ask me to do some work, I'm not going to do my work, send it to you, and then wait for you to pay, of course, no? So I'm going to just ask for you to put money into an escrow that you don't control, that I don't control, but that Kleros controls. And then if there is a dispute about this contract, there is going to be like a Kleros decision, and then money will be. So when agent starts working in this world, they will be unknown as you kind of people who try to get their first job and nobody knows them, but the agent's the same. And then they will start earning reputation after doing transactions that work successfully. And when they have some reputation, then they could, start using that reputation as kind of a escrow, collateral, for doing transactions, just as it works with traditional centralized platforms where people have a reputation, and they use that reputation for getting trust of others and getting business from others without having to put all of that money up front. The main problem of this anonymous crypto scene is that if you need people to put money up front for every transaction, then this is not really going to be like this is not how the economy works. The economy works through credit and through trust, and if there is no credit, everything would be like way less efficient. I mean, that is why countries like Argentina, also you could say south of Italy if you want, or like emerging economies that have like typically low trust. Well, they have low economic activity because they are having low trust, less collective coordination, and less public goods. And well, let's not go into that rabbit hole now. So what's going to happen in the world of agents and the tools that we are building and that will kind of fit together into this agentic reputation? I don't want to call it, agentic nation state, but it's kind of different tools, like nation state, economy, market, where they have reputation, they have identity, they have a dispute resolution. Lots of the problems the dispute that will happen will be about reputation, will be about, hey, we did this transaction and you gave me only 3 stars and I gave you what you wanted for, and now you are screwing my reputation, and now I'm not hired by anyone because so the things that happen, in eBay, Amazon, Uber, also will happen here. And Kleros will, I think, be one of the key use cases. Is going to be like, was this 3-star rating correct or not? And Kleros will be the one that has the right to remove a wrongly given reputation, sending SBTs, back and forth, removing SBTs. Well, those type of questions are how this is going to be structured from a technical perspective. So I don't want to do this very long, but lots of what the agentic economy is going to look like in the future is going to be similar to dynamics that we also see regarding in the human economy, only faster. But we are going to see trust, credit, and where this is missing, we will have possibly like financial incentives upfront with escrows, and this is more or less what we are trying to build. Well, that was a mouthful, right? Yeah. Any comment about this?
No, but I agree that trust for agents is going to, it will be extremely important also because agents act slightly differently from humans. Let's say that I have one of member of my family, someone I really trust, and I perform a service to, I don't know, for my sister, I build for her a website. My delivery is bad for some reason. And even if maybe my sister knows that I am, a skilled developer, I mean, I'm not, but it's just hypothetical. I am a skilled developer. She can hire me again because there's that human part of trust. That there wasn't any malicious intent when I delivered something wrong. The reason why I'm saying this is because for agents, they understand just code. So imagine an agent that maybe performed 10,000 of jobs perfectly, then the last 3 went wrong, and this will impact his future transaction because the clients will see just the latest transaction they went wrong, so this agent will start declining. The way we are designing this reputation is extremely important so that agent can understand it and each other, and they can interact more easily. So definitely reputation, and even on the final statement, even the most simple point is that there will be billions of agents, and a reputation is needed because how easy it is to create new agents for everything. So a reputation system will be core in the agentic economy.
I also got the chance to meet last week. Jeremy Allaire, he was in Buenos Aires. He's the founder and CEO at Circle. I mean, I know him. I have been in his podcast. And he just launched last week also like this framework of agentic commerce. And this is interesting. This coming from a person who basically built a stablecoin company. You know, they are the issuers of USDC. And they know very well how this is the native, like normal, like currency for a agentic world. And to sustain like an agentic economy, you also need agentic governance institutions, and this is what we are trying to build. I got the chance to discuss with him. I mean, I've known him for a while, and then you can watch the podcast. He invited me. It was a bunch of years ago. The funny thing is that in his background, when he was recording, he had an icosahedron, and when we start, I'm like, hey, dude, you have the Kleros logo on your back, and he was looking. Yeah, that's Kleros logo. I mean, that was so funny. But I mean, do read if you are interested in all of this. Do read what he has just published about the agentic framework that he developed. It's really cool. It's very much on spot on what is happening, and he's someone who has been building this in the trenches. You know, it's not like a academic commenting on people doing other stuff. He is actually, building this. So I was really lucky that he came here this week for this conference in Buenos Aires. Big admiration for everything he has built. Central is amazing. And then I was going to say one more thing, but I forgot. But that was cool. Anything you guys want to add about this?
Not really, just that, we also have, we released the skills. So we are definitely agent ready. I want to highlight that what we discussed is not just a vision or something that we plan to do. It's what we discussed today are tools that are already there, and we are using them. They can be used. You can use them. So it's to close the circle, what I said at the beginning is the economy now that has to catch up. The tools are there, and of course you have to move the entire economy there. But we are ready, and we will keep investing in this.
It's also worth mentioning, it's not really like pivot, because this was part of Kleros since the very beginning. I mean, the first article we wrote about AI and Kleros was in 2019, based on the first test we did with the Intelligence trial. At the end of the day, we were always building an infrastructure that would resolve disputes, or you could use a subjective oracle, as you want to call it. And then this could be connecting decision-making entities, some of which might be human, some of which might not. I mean, this was completely normal because the infrastructure is more or less the same. And for us now, the challenge is to see and figure out exactly how these different parts connect together. You want to have like an early decision-making process done by humans or by AIs. And what happens if there is an appeal? You want to have AIs appeal to a panel of other AIs or humans. And what sort of humans? Anyone just with tokens, or you want whitelisted people with some particular skills? So all of these things that we have been developing over the years, like the Kleros V2 with the Soulbound tokens, identity protocols, court being cheaper, L2 or whatever, decision-making mechanisms, all this kind of is converging into building a system that is going to be as much flexible as possible to accommodate from the very little value, few dollars, agentic disputes happening about some data, whatever, dispute between agents, to higher value arbitration, legally binding, enforceable under the New York Convention, kind of high value situation. So Kleros should be able to accommodate as much of this as possible. It will not accommodate everything. very high value things still is going to be handled by traditional arbitration methods. It's okay. I mean, this is not thought for that. But all of the lower kind of value or crypto native or digital native things that are not very well suited for human traditional decision-making settings, this can go to Kleros. Okay, just wanted to show you a bit of what we are working on. This is a bit early stage, but it's working, it's functional, and it will get better. You will start seeing many of our products starting to incorporate more AI in the future. Anything else, Fortunato?
Oh, good.
Awesome, thank you. Let's bring William now.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Well, William, we can go back to speaking about baseball now after the World Cup, right?
Yeah. I mean, my team, the Blue Jays, isn't the most like engaging baseball discussion to have. It's a disappointing season, but yeah, I mean, I always hope.
We were speaking of the algorithm. Yesterday in my iPad said, "Oh, look, the Blue Jays are playing against what team was it, William?"
Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah. Okay. So it was 8-2 losing, and then like 2 minutes later, 12-2, and yeah, I said, William, this is not going to be our season, unfortunately.
So the match representative of the season.
Okay, let's move on. So, William, tell us a bit. So today we had a really cool, also speaking of AI, really cool publication of an article we wrote for the Kluwer Arbitration Blog, which is the most important, I would say, arbitration blog in the world, a very well-respected source of consultation for legal scholars, legal practitioners. And we have been doing in the past research about how different AI models decide on the same types of cases. And one of this article was published like just today. So I will just let you tell us a bit about that, William. And so, yeah, and then people can read it in the blog, okay?
Yeah, I mean, the article has like some of the ideas we've discussed about our AI research, in different venues before. We like how different like AI models can like disagree in systematic ways when you give them like similar cases. We had a data set of past lemon cases, I believe, that we gave to 2 models, recent versions of Claude and ChatGPT, and looked at their rate of agreement, and we included the results of that experiment in this article. If I recall correctly, like they disagreed with each other at rates that are pretty comparable to how the rates with human jurors and Kleros disagreed with each other. The sort of interesting thing was that like their divergences from the human jurors, from the results produced by the human jurors, were kind of like different. They were like systematic differences in like the kinds of cases on which Claude disagreed with the human jurors versus the ones on which ChatGPT disagreed with the human jurors. One of the two, I don't actually remember, was like kind of like equally likely to disagree, to like say that like the company Lemon was right, and that for Kleros to say that the jurors, like the human user, was right, and vice versa. And the other AI was very systematic, and that like every time it disagreed with the human jurors, the company was right according to the AI. This points to interesting like questions around like if I'm a user of one of these tools and the AI is going to be judging my case. Like what AI do I want to judge my case? Well, if I'm the company, I want the one that always favors me, maybe. In Kleros, like, these different tools will compete with each other in this economic game, where like they can sort of gain or lose PNK over time based on the rate at which they agree with ultimate appeal rounds. Even in such a mechanism, you might expect like different strategies to exist, and how do those strategies perform relative to each other?
Let me give you a bit more of precision of what were the models we tested. So we ran 99 actual real fintech disputes, consumer disputes that were previously solved by the jurors through AI models. First, we compared Claude Opus 4.7 with ChatGPT 5.5. And we found that Claude Opus was nearly like 5 times more likely to rule in favor of the consumer, than ChatGPT 5.5. So this is one thing. So 5 times more likely. So if you're a consumer, definitely you will want to have Claude Opus. So consumer advocacy groups will favor Claude Opus, and then the company will want ChatGPT. But it's not as simple as that, because what happens is that, let's say that you agree to have Claude Opus, but you also need to clarify what version, because we compare Opus 4.7 to 4.8, and 4.8, what it did is that it changed the standard of proof requiring which side the burden of proof would fall, and it put more burden of proof on the side of the consumer. So now the consumer, in order to win, had to present a way more like a strong case than in 4.7, which is like a problematic in the sense that, okay, we have this arbitration clause that says we will use Claude model for resolution of our case, but if Claude pushes an update, this can change the bias or the decision of the model into a different way, which means that you need to be careful when you make these decisions, because those updates are pushed silently. Also, this only was testing the different models. What about the prompt? What about the lots of different variables? What about the time of the day when you do the decision? Because, judges, humans, after lunch, they tend to be decide differently than before lunch. If their football team wins that weekend, then they decide in a different mood. All of those biases that affected humans before, well, models, LLMs, seem to be affected as well. So, any other thoughts about this, William?
I think you summarized it well.
Cool.
Yep, I would like to mention something.
Yeah,
because there's like some perception that usually before launches of new models, the performance of the previous model decreases because the companies want to make the perception of the new model to be better. So they tweak the parameters, or apparently, and I think there are some indications of that. So imagine if you have like something deciding something really big, like a dispute, being affected by the launch schedule of a company. It's really serious, right?
And people try to game that, okay, now I want my case to be decided like in this particular calendar of this model. Okay, I want this to be done in the last week of the old model before it's taken out. People will start to try to game that, because people try to, if you did this type of crime, you would want to go into that, courthouse and that judge and that, because you know what are their biases, and the same thing is going to happen with AIs, and this is going to be like a very, very big deal in the future. And this is why what we think is that what's the solution for this? So this problem has affected arbitration for ages, and not only arbitration, legal systems for ages. In the US, there's a very sophisticated juror challenge system. If you think that one of the jurors is going to be biased because of whatever reason, you can challenge the juror. There is even a very good movie with Gene Hackman, Runaway Tribunal, I think it was the name. And then it's a guy who is an expert in the use of big data to predict what jurors are going to do in their decisions. This movie is like 25 years ago. So imagine what technology advanced, and this is going to be in the world of AI decision making. And so one of the main things in arbitration is whoever controls the panel controls the decision. So what we will have to do is to maybe start thinking of having a diverse panel of different models where, since you don't control easily the bias of each model because of a change in like the version, or different models can have different biases. I don't know, maybe it's too hard to try to look for like just one unbiased model, and what you want is to have like a panel of models where you don't have to worry that much about the biases, because you could assume that they will cancel each other, just as having a larger panel of humans also cancel each other's biases. Maybe you can comment a bit, William, on this research we've done about soulbound tokens and diversity in human panels, and how this can apply to AIs as well.
Yeah. So, we've done a lot of work on like, what kind of qualifications that we want human people to have to be jurors for certain kinds of cases. If you have some kind of educational like credential, you pass some kind of like online program that you do Web3 development or whatever, and that gives you like a qualification to say that you're qualified to handle kind of like bug-related disputes or something, or maybe you're like a resident of a certain place and you got a soulbound token from like the jurisdiction of that place. And then what becomes sort of interesting is when you have lots of different qualifications that are all kind of relevant, but none of which are completely required. And how can I use that to like weight my selection odds to pick out a panel that is diverse, that's like, there's lots of social science research that if you have like diverse panels, they make better decisions on average, sort of all else being equal, that like has all the kinds of qualifications you want represented, and is hard to attack, because like adding in these qualifications can, when done properly, complement the attack resistance of the kind of like the PNK token weighting and the other attack resistance mechanisms we have, in ways that these like systems like layer each other well, and like you kind of have to break all of them to like break the system. And you can do the same thing for AIs, like maybe some AIs are like, deterministic and they have the determinism badge, and like other AIs have like, like some badge saying that they have like some kind of track record where they've handled disputes in a certain way. Maybe you have like the confidential data AI that like, the AI is incapable of releasing private data that you put in. This gets at a lot of research I've been doing recently around like how to best handle private data. It's another badge the AI could have. Just generally like, your sort of points about like the launch schedule and things like, these like weird outside factors like impacting your AI, and how like, it's important to have maybe a panel, or like I would say that this is like, a good argument for why specifically we want the Kleros model, where, like you don't have enshrined AIs. You don't even have an enshrined panel of AIs. You have AIs that are picked randomly due to some, some like cryptoeconomic system, and compete with each other. Because at the end of the day, you have some human operator that's like some PNK holder that like set up this AI, and like it's their job to like know that the launch, that like to pay attention to the launch schedule. Like, I've done some tests and I can have like some idea that like, maybe this LM I've been using is degraded temporarily, and I need to switch to another one temporarily to like, maintain the quality of my AI. Otherwise, I might lose money. And like. You have ultimately this human being behind the AI that's taking responsibility for the AI's decisions, and they have to do a certain amount of maintenance, which you don't have in like a model where the AI is just enshrined.
We have opened now the fellowship application for the 10th batch. One of the tracks is actually about AI and dispute resolution and Kleros, and we have already like we opened this like 1 week ago. We have more than 20 applicants who want to research AI and Kleros. So this is going to be an amazing cohort, and all of them like really high qualification people. I'm super happy with how this is going. So if you want to do research about AI and Kleros, all of these topics. I mean, if I were like someone doing like legal research or like cryptoeconomics, AI, so these are like I would say virgin fields of study. I mean, if you study this now, you are going to be cited by lots of people because you are in the early days of all this. So, I mean, you can apply to the fellowship. We will help you do this research, and we will like tell you about our experience. You have FaceTime with any of us. We can help you make experiments if you want to do like empirical research that we strongly encourage, because we have so many things we want to understand of how these decisions are done. Like, okay, we know that different models like have different decisions. What about different prompts? What about different times of the day? What different types of whatever? So how many variables could affect the models on how they decide? This is going to be, in my view, one of the most important questions of the next decade of legal systems in their transformation to the AI economy. So do apply, because it's a super fascinating topic and this is very timely. We will do a community call, maybe next week or the other, about another very important topic that we are researching is regarding privacy and confidentiality. As you know, we at Kleros have different enterprise application institutions, and this requires some confidentiality of evidence, because that's the nature of the arbitration business, and we need to accommodate for this. And we have a bunch of ideas that try to, accommodate the Kleros mechanism to requirements of institutions, companies, governments, and this, if we can solve this correctly, I mean, this is one. I would say maybe the number one friction point for Kleros adoption in the world of enterprise and institutions is precisely the problem of confidentiality of data. So we are putting lots of effort into solving this through different mechanisms. And we will do probably a call about this soon, so you can understand better what are our thoughts of this, and then hopefully, if you have ideas, research this with us. Anything else, guys, for today? Jean, anything you want to comment? Or
just one thing, that we migrated the cases from Kleros Scout to the new court on Gnosis chain with hidden voting. And for voting, there are two steps. You need to vote, basically select which option, and then there's a period for revealing the vote afterwards. And then if you don't reveal the vote, you can be punished because it counts as not voting. So yeah, you lose.
you get slashed. You get slashed.
You get slashed, yes, which usually means you get lose a couple of dollars, but let's just keep it slashed because it sounds more dangerous. So you lose that.
I mean,
so
we should change the terminology to something cooler. You get executed. I mean, the transaction is executed. Yeah. Please go on.
Your vote stake gets executed. So yeah, please make sure that you vote on the two periods, make transactions in the two periods, not to lose the vote stake. And if you haven't migrated yet, I think it's a good opportunity, because there are still not everyone that were staked at the original curation court migrated, so you have more chances of getting cases. And the curation court will still receive a couple of cases, but it will be only from other products that are not generating that as much volume. I mean, and that's it for me.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Let's see you Monday at 6 p.m. Argentina time for the Spanish community call, or next week at 6 p.m. UTC for the English call. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.